Hi, hello viewers, it's Min IAS Academy and today we are going to discuss about things which we can do to crack our UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021. So our exam is postponed. Earlier we had our exam on June, now it is postponed to October. So we are getting around 4 months now. So within this 4 months we can make ourselves prepared to crack this UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021. Even though if you have not yet started your preparation, then still we have time. We have 4 months and within this 4 months we can crack our UPSC Civil Service Exam. And in this video I am going to tell you how we can do that. So first, syllabus. The syllabus for UPSC Civil Service Exam is huge and it is going to be, we are going to have environment, geography and science and technology, polity, history. We are going to have many subjects. So first one is history. In history we are going to have ancient history, medieval history, modern history and Indian freedom struggle. Then we also have world history for our mains exam, but let us focus only for the prelims exam. Apart from history we have geography. In geography we have world geography as well as we have Indian geography. And we have economy. In economy we have macroeconomics as well as microeconomics. We should focus on both these stuffs. And then we have environment. Environment is something linked with geography as well as science and technology, but environment is also very much important for UPSC Civil Service Exam. From geography and environment alone, we can expect around 25 questions, which means that we can expect around 25% of the question from geography and environment alone. So which means equally geography and environment is very much important for UPSC Civil Service Exam. And apart from geography and environment, apart from this, we have polity. Polity is also an important subject. So recently there are many questions which are asked from polity. We can expect around 20 questions from polity, which means that we can expect around 20% of the questions from polity. But polity is a very vast subject and you need to focus on everything to make these 20 questions right. And after that we have science and technology. Science and technology is very much important for UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021. Why? Because now we are having a pandemic, and in this pandemic science and technology holds very much importance because in current affairs, if you are seeing current affairs, then you can see there are many new inventions which are coming up relating to diseases, and there are many new inventions which are relating to the diagnosis of the diseases. So because of that, science and technology is very much important for UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021, but generally we can expect around 10 questions from science and technology. So I think these are the subjects: history, geography, economy, environment, politics. Okay, these are the subjects. So if you want to complete the entire syllabus for history, we should be preparing the ancient India and medieval India. Modern India is the most important topic. From modern India only we can expect so much of questions. So we should read a book, and the pages, it costs around 800 pages, I guess. So the book which I am reading, it will be around 800 pages. I guess it is Spectrum. So we should be reading around 800 pages. Geography also we have great books. We have Kuller and we also have G.C. Leong book. So we can read those books. And for environment itself, the smallest book which I am reading is itself 400 pages. And for polity it will be around 1500 pages. If you want to complete the syllabus, we need to read all these stuffs. And for science and technology, we should focus more on the current affairs than compared to reading a standard book. Apart from these books, we should also focus on current affairs. So talking about UPSC Civil Service Exam, it has equal importance for static as well as dynamic thing. We have current affairs, which is a dynamic one. It will be changing year to year, and the static syllabus, which I have said like history, geography, will be constant. So you should be focusing on both these stuffs. And to complete the syllabus within 4 months is highly impossible if you are starting right now. But what we can do is, to crack UPSC Civil Service Exam, we should be able to score 50% of the marks. If we are able to score 50% of the marks, around 50%, then we can crack UPSC Civil Service Exam. So if I say around 50%, then it doesn't mean exactly 50%. It might be more or less 50%. So around 50% is needed to crack UPSC Civil Services prelims exam. So we will be having 100 questions. So from this 100 questions, if you are able to solve 50 questions right, then we can crack UPSC Civil Services exam. So we should be able to guess those 50 questions. From these stuffs, we need to pick just 50 topics from which questions are going to be asked. So if you are able to predict those 50 topics, then then you are able to crack this exam. So first, let us have a prediction. So how the questions can be asked. First, so now let us predict the questions. Now let us have expected questions. If you are able to expect 1000 questions, so now for the upcoming month, let us guess 1000 questions. Let us guess 1000 expected questions for UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021. And in this 1000 questions, and if you are able to make 50 questions right, in our prediction, I don't want to make all those 1000 questions right. It cannot be possible because there are only 100 questions which are going to be asked. So in this 1000, if you are able to make 50, if our questions are 50 are right, if our expectation is 50 right, if 50 is right, then we can easily crack our UPSC Civil Service Exam. It is that simple. So guessing this 50 question, it doesn't mean all these 1000 are from current affairs, because in UPSC Civil Service Exam they will be asking around 20%. They say directly from current affairs they will be asking around 20%, but indirectly from the current affairs they will be asking around 50% from the current affairs, which means that current affairs 50%, static questions 50%, make the question paper of UPSC Civil Service Exam prelims, and we need to guess 50%, which means that we need to guess both the static as well as dynamic things to make our guess right. So in the upcoming month, which means that we are in June, right? So in this June we are going to guess, in this June and July we are going to guess around 1000 questions which are going to be asked in UPSC Civil Service Exam 2021. So I think it is easy to make 50 right. Why? Because this generally we can predict questions. However, so let us see about UPSC Civil Service 2021. In 2021, in geographically, there are certain places in news, like Palestinian issue. We have West Bank, Jordan, Israel is in news. We are building a Chabahar port in Iran. So Iran is in news. We should see certain ports which are famous in other countries also. And in Myanmar, there is a political issue, so Myanmar is in news. So questions can be asked from Myanmar. And Andaman and Nicobar always holds importance because it is a strategic location, and Jammu and Kashmir is always important because it is also in a strategic location. So we should know the geographical areas for these things, and apart from this we should also focus on the Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea is also equally important. Why? Because this Mediterranean Sea is always in news. Recently Swiss Canal ship blocked it, right? So because of that Mediterranean Sea is in news, and we should also focus on Dead Sea, Red Sea and the other seas, RLC, and we should also focus on certain volcanic mountains which are recently erupted, and we should also focus on certain disputed islands. Coming to economy, in economy we are having so much things. We are having an inflation right now. So because of this we can focus on inflation, the RBI steps to control inflation, and agriculture is always important in economy. Economy in agriculture is always important for UPSC Civil Service Exam. The question can be asked from economy, or else from geography, or else from environment. But surely there will be a question from agriculture. So we should focus on agriculture on all these three stars. So question can be asked from agriculture, and apart from this we are having GDP and questions in economy. Most of the questions will be linked to current affairs. So focusing on current affairs we can expect questions, and we should also focus more on the economic survey as well as budget which is released by the government, because most of the times the questions will be focused from the economic survey as well as the budget and the new terms which are in news. There will be certain new terms which will be in news. By focusing on those stuff we can guess those stuff. And from environment, always pollution is important. So we should focus on pollution. We should be focusing on air pollution, water pollution and the other pollutions which are in news. And there are certain conventions which are signed by our government. There is a Rio Earth Summit, there is Agenda. So we should see about those summit. We should see about the conferences. We should see about the climate change actions which are done internationally and nationally. We should focus on those stuff. It also holds importance. We should be focusing on current affairs. We should be focusing on current affairs, and we should bring our static syllabus also in. By that we can guess the questions easily. And for polity, recently there is an election which is held in certain states, I guess. So because of that, election commission is in news. So election commission is in news, and for US recently president election held. Because of that, president is also in news. We should be able to bring a contrast between the US president as well as the Indian president, the powers of US president as well as the Indian president, and we should be also focusing on the governors, because election commission election recently held, and the election commission is the one handling all the stuff. and governor is the one for taking oath and affirmation. Governor is the one who will do all such things, right? So we should be focusing on governor, CM and the council of ministers. While we are reading about governor, CM, we should be reading parallelly about the president, prime minister, all those stuff. So we should be focusing on polity in these areas. And apart from this, we have National Human Rights Commission, and we should also have a commission for SC and ST. So we should be focusing on certain commissions. And from science and technology, current affairs is the most important thing for relating to science and technology. We have certain terms. There will be certain terms which will be in news, and from those terms questions can be asked in UPSC Civil Services exam. So example for that we can say as sickle cell. Sickle cell is a term which is in news. By hearing to this word sickle cell, we generally think it as a disease. Sickle cell is a disease. We generally predict it. How questions will be asked like sickle cell. The word sickle cell, which is in news, is related to what? Questions can be asked in this manner, but we generally confuse it in a way that we generally guess it as a disease, a rare disease, or a disease which is relating to hemoglobin or something like that. We usually used to do this, but actually it is a disease which is relating to. It is not a disease. It is a edible weed. It is a weed actually, but it is edible actually. So likewise, there are certain terms which are in news, and there are certain government schemes. There are certain government schemes which are in news. There are certain government schemes which are recently announced by the government, and there are certain things which government introduced. Schemes and programs like we have Vidyadan 2.0, C40 cities. We have Operation Tea Spring, and then we have SANS campaign. These are the certain terms which are in news. And apart from this, we have a famous thing. I also expect this question from UPSC Civil Service exam. It is Poonam Avlocon. By generally seeing this word, we usually used to predict it as some festival, or it is something relating to culture. We usually used to guess in this way, but actually it is a thing which is used to count the number of lions. Actually, recently a question is asked about counting tigers. So counting tigers, there is a question. It is M stripes. M stripes is actually used to count the number of tigers actually. So recently question is asked in UPSC Civil Service exam prelims. So now Poonam Avlocon can be asked, but because it is used to count the number of lions. So likewise, we can easily predict the question. So we are going to predict 1000 questions, and by this predictions, by this 1000, if 50 is right, then we are going to crack away UPSC Civil Service exam, and it is that simple. So subscribe to Min IAS Academy and wait for our upcoming videos in which we are going to predict 1000 expected questions in UPSC Civil Service exam 2021. Subscribe to Min IAS Academy. Thank you.